Hello guys, I'll try to keep a steady camera this time, but I'm recording this other video. It's the history of adult animated feature-length films. And I included, hold up, let me check. Is there a table of contents or something? Oh yeah, there is. I included 15 films, but that's just to start off with. I'm going to do a second part. But I was thinking of doing 30 films, but I'm going to split it. So let me just start off. Animal Farm. So this was the first British animated film, and it bombed at the box office, but it made money 15 years later, and this surprisingly got a G rating when there's blood and drinking. 1001 Nights flop. It was an anime that was successful in Japan, but it wasn't a hit worldwide, especially in the United States. It wasn't even that popular, and some countries even ignored it. So we have two flops in a row. Fritz the Cat. Okay, this is probably the most interesting one that I came across. So this was the first American animated film that got an X rating, and it was directed by Ralph Bakshi in his directorial debut, and it opened in theaters on Wednesday in April, and it wasn't a limited release, but it was a box office smash. Made $25 million in the United States and $90 million worldwide. It was also the highest grossing non-Disney animated film until Mononoke. Although you could technically make the argument that it technically counts because it was distributed by Miramax, Princess Mononoke. It was distributed by Miramax, but I'm not gonna count it because they didn't create it. The Nine Lives of Fritz the Cat flop. This was the sequel to the original film, but the director and creator weren't involved in it. It was not commercially successful either, because it only made $3 million on a budget of $1.5 million. The original one made $90 million worldwide, so this one doesn't even compare. It also wasn't really well received, and it was the first animated film to receive an R rating. The other one got an X rating. Wizards. Success. This film was directed by Ralph Bakshi, the same person who directed the original Fritz the Cat. It was successful at the box office despite its higher budget. It grossed $9 million on a budget of $2 million. The original Fritz the Cat had a budget of $700,000 or $850,000. I found two sources on that, but I didn't know which one's true. It was the first animated fantasy film he directed. Watership Down. So, remember how Animal Farm got a G rating? Well, this one got a PG rating. It would have been rated PG-13, but it didn't exist until the mid-80s. It was based on a book written by Richard Adams of the same name. It received positive reviews and was also a box office success. Heavy Metal success. Heavy Metal is an adult animated sci-fi film that surprisingly didn't flop at the box office. It was based on heavy metal magazines, and it ended up grossing $20 million on a $9 million budget, which made it a modest box office modest commercial success. I was about to say box office, but then I saw a commercial there. The Plague Dogs. So this one was the first one that got a PG-13 rating, but this was years after its release. It was also based on a book by Richard Adams, same guy as Watership Down. This was the first adult animated film that was released by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Unlike Watership Down, this film wasn't successful at the box office. It was not successful. I just wanted to say that, unless you thought I said something wrong. It was a flop, sadly. You can literally see it here. Akira was a success. This film was based on a manga of the same name. The creator also directed the film adaptation. It became a cultural phenomenon in the United States due to gaining $80 million in home video sales. It was acclaimed by critics and audiences and is considered to be one of the top animated films of all time. It is also a hugely influential film. There's so many influences to that. There's the Akira bike slide. There's so much more I could go into, but I didn't want it to fill up the page, so I just put some stuff that I knew. It grossed $49 million on a budget of $5.7 million, which made it a box office success. Bebe's Kids flop. It became the first animated feature film with a predominant African American cast. It was based on a stand-up routine by Robin Harris, who died 2 years before its release. This one got a PG-13 rating in its initial release. The other one, The Plague Dogs, got it after. It was a commercial failure and received negative reviews. There was also a video game of that, but also received negative reviews. Ghost in the Shell flop. This was an animated sci-fi film that was also based on a manga, like Akira, by the same name. The film received positive reviews, but was also a box office failure. It developed a cult following on home video and is considered to be one of the top sci-fi films of all time. Unlike Akira, the manga creator was not the director of the film. And I just mentioned Akira when I mentioned the manga. Beavis and Butthead Do America. So this one was based on a TV show, but it first aired in 93. It was released in the winter of 96 and was the second highest grossing fully animated film of the year, behind The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And I say fully animated because Space Jam ended up making more money, but it made more money than Beavis and Butthead, but it did not beat Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it mixes live action. So I said fully animated because Space Jam has live action segments. I just want to say that. It was rated PG-13. Princess Mononoke. This film released in 97 in Japan and 99 in the US. It was widely acclaimed by critics and audiences. It was distributed by Disney via Miramax and was also the highest grossing adult animated film until the release of the Simpsons movie, which released 10 years later. It was rated PG-13. Yeah, so going about it said Fritz the Cat, I'm technically not going to count it as an Disney film because they didn't make it, they only distributed the film. It wasn't produced by them, but technically it technically counts because it was distributed by them. But I'm not counting it Wikipedia, so I'm not trusting them, sadly. Perfect Blue. So this was an animated psychological thriller that was written by Satoshi Kon in his directorial debut. It received positive reviews, but it was unsuccessful at the box office. It wasn't that popular, and the psychological thriller genre just wasn't, I think it just was too much for people to handle. It later developed a cult following years later. Yeah, it wasn't successful because, like, I think it was really violent for them. It received positive reviews, like I'm saying. It was violent, and the genre wasn't that popular. Psychological thriller. Animation is a medium. Please get that. Alright. I'm gonna see if I can try to get this done in under 10 minutes. Alright. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Success. This film was based on a TV show that first aired in 97. It released in the summer of 99 and became a box office success. You know, another film, Wild Wild West, opened on the same day, but it flopped. It was the highest grossing R-rated animated film until 2016, when it was surpassed by Sausage Party. It was initially rated NC-17, which means you'd have to be 18 to see it, but it was rated R. This is one of my favorite trivia facts. There were exactly 399 swear words. You know what's funny though? The Wolf of Wall Street has like 600 swear words in it, and it still got an R rating. That's how I found out about the Wolf of Wall Street. But anyways, back to this. The film's title references something uncircumcised, uncut. And I guess that is it though. Let's look at the flops and the hits and the successes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 7 films flopped. Okay, I'm not gonna do this in under 10 minutes, my bad. And how many succeeded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 7 films flopped and 8 films succeeded. Anyways, I do not really have much else to say, but I just want to thank all of you for watching this video. And well, I guess that is it though. I'm gonna do a second part to this because I didn't finish it. I didn't want to make it too long. So I'll see you next time. Bye.